This is episode 2 of our 2-part series on how to properly install the shadow overflow. In episode 1, we showed you how to drill your aquarium, and in episode 2, we're going to show you now how to properly plumb the overflow. Now we're going to show you all the necessary components that we need to complete the plumbing. You're going to need the shadow overflow rear box, and you want to make sure that it's removed from the aquarium while we do this. You're going to need 1.5" PVC pipe, which you can get in any color you want. We sell the red and we sell the black 1.5" on our website. So if you're looking for colors, we have them there. You're going to need 3 1.5" unions. You can use Schedule 40 or Schedule 80. It's your choice there as well. You're going to need an 1.5" gate valve. We recommend a gate valve over a ball valve because the adjustability is a lot better with a gate valve. You're going to need some PVC glue. We recommend standard medium grade PVC glue. You're going to need some way to cut the actual PVC pipe. So you're going to need either a pair of cutters, or you're going to need a saw or a hacksaw. You're going to need a file or some sort of router or sandpaper to make the edges nice on the pipe. We're going to show you how to do that as well. And also you're going to need a tape measure and a marker so you can measure and mark the pipe properly. We've went ahead and pre-cut our pipes and have them chamfered here. We used a saw to go ahead and cut our pipes, and then we used a router to router the edges and make the chamfer on it. If you don't have a saw or router, you can use the hand cutters to cut your pipe, and you can use either the file, so you can file down the edges and actually make a chamfered edge, or you can use sandpaper to sand the edges as well. But it's important that you chamfer the edge of the pipe, because without a chamfered edge, it's going to be too flat and it won't glue properly inside the overflow. So the chamfered edge is going to allow the pipe to slide into the overflow and actually slide into the fitting properly with the glue. So make sure you do chamfer the edge. And again, there's many ways to chamfer pipe. Just look on YouTube or Google it and just look for how to chamfer pipe. So we have 3 pieces of PVC cut here at 4 inches in length. You can cut these from 4 inches up to 10 inches in length. They're going to actually glue into the bottom of the overflow before we put the unions on. So you need 3 pieces that are 4 inches in length up to 10 inches. And then we also cut 3 pieces here for the inside overflow. One's going to be 2.5 inches, one is going to be 3.5 inches, and one's going to be 7 inches. These are all approximate lengths because you may need to modify the inside box plumbing, and we'll show you how to do that here as well. So if you use standard PVC handheld cutters like you see here, just make sure that after you do cut the pipe that you chamfer the edges properly, because PVC cutters actually will make the edges swell. As you press down, the pressure from the cutter will cause the edges of the pipe to swell, which puts the pipe then out of tolerance, so it's actually larger than the hole that is on the bottom of the overflow. So you want to make sure that you do properly chamfer the pipe down so it does fit in the hole properly. So now we're going to go ahead and glue the PVC pieces into the bottom of the rear of the shadow overflow. So we're going to show you how to actually glue those in properly. So first you want to make sure all your pieces are chamfered and you have a nice clean edge on them. And try not to dry fit them in there too much because you can damage it if you push them in too far. They're meant to be glued first and then pushed in, because the glue actually softens the plastic inside the overflow and softens the pipe and allows it to go all the way in properly. And then also, if you look inside the overflow, there's actually a stopper that's inside there that will actually stop the pipe. So when you push it in, it can only go so far. So after we've glued the PVC pipe, we're going to go ahead and put some glue inside of the fitting on the bottom of the overflow. And then we're going to slide the two together and just give it about a quarter twist. And then just hold it there for a few seconds. And that's it. Now just let it set up. After you glue the first one in, you're going to proceed to glue the second and third pipe in the same way. All 3 are going to be done exactly the same. Now that we've got all 3 pipes glued in place on the bottom of the overflow, we're going to go ahead and glue in 3 unions on there as well. We recommend taking a union apart and then using one side and gluing it onto the pipe on each one. So now we've got all 3 pieces of PVC glued into the bottom of the overflow, and we have our 3 unions glued on. We're going to talk about how to plumb from the union down to your sump. So in most cases with Synergy sumps, they're all 1.5" fittings that are on the sump, so you can plumb directly into the sump with 1.5" fittings. If you have a sump that doesn't have 1.5" fittings on it and you need to reduce down to 1" fittings, you can easily go out and get an 1.5" to 1" bushing. And this, what you would do is just take it and slide it right inside of the 1.5" union. So this allows you to remove and put on 1.5" to 1" pipe whenever you need to. So if you don't need to reduce down any of your fittings and you're going 1.5" to your sump, what you're going to do next is get a short piece of PVC, slide it in the union, and then we're going to use a gate valve, an 1.5" gate valve. And that gate valve is just going to go on here to allow us to adjust the water volume coming through the primary siphon tube. So with the gate valve, you don't have to necessarily install it right here near the overflow. You can also install it near your sump or in a location where you can't access it. Just for display purposes, in this video we've showed you where it goes in line. And then you can either have your emergency and your secondary plumbed in any of these as well. So the primary necessarily doesn't have to be right here. You can actually have it in the middle if you would like, or you can have it on this end if you like as well. So you can plumb these in any configuration you want. You'd have your primary, your emergency, and then your secondary. The valve only needs to go on your primary. Now we're going to show you how to plumb the inside rear box of the overflow. In this situation we have it on the display here to show you, but in a normal situation you're going to already have the bottom plumbed, and then you're going to have this attached to your tank. Now we're going to take the 3 pieces that we cut earlier. You had a piece that was 2.5 inches, a piece that was 3.5, and a piece that was 7 inches long. Again, these are all approximate lengths, and yours may vary depending on the flow that you have running through your tank, but we're going to start with these and then you can modify them to your needs as we go along. We're going to take one of the U-pipes that's included with the overflow kit, and we're going to take the 2.5 inch piece and we're going to stick it inside of the U-pipe. Now you don't need to press this in too far. 1/4 inch is plenty because there's no glue on this, so it's just enough to be in there to hold it in place. The U-fitting does fit really tight, and this is normal. Again, as long as you've chamfered the edges on your pipe, then everything will slide in perfectly fine. Once you have that piece put in there, we're going to go ahead and stick that on your primary siphon side. The primary siphon side is the one that has the gate valve on it. Next, you're going to take the second U-pipe that's included with the kit, and you're going to take your 3.5 inch piece of pipe. Again, you're going to put it inside the U-pipe, using caution when putting it in there. Slide it in 1/4 inch. 1/8 to 1/4 is fine. And this is going to go on your secondary. This is the drain that does not have a gate valve on it. And then last, you have your 7 inch piece of pipe, which is going to go in your spot for your emergency. In this case, we're putting it in the center, but you can put these, again, in any position that you wish. You can plumb this overflow in a bunch of different variations. So what we recommend is a bean animal style or a 3-pipe full siphon style overflow system. It's going to be your quietest and your most fail-safe system. If you only have 2 drains on your sump, you can use just 2 pipes. You can run it with just 2 of the U-pipes. If you only have 1 drain, you can run 1. This is very versatile, and you can run it any way that you decide to plumb it. Now that you have the plumbing inside the rear box completed, you can go ahead and turn on your pump and adjust the flow. You're going to use the gate valve in this situation to adjust the flow to bring up the water level inside the box above the primary siphon tube. The secondary siphon tube is going to be partially underwater, not completely submerged. Again, you may need to adjust the pipes inside on the primary and the secondary to go with the amount of flow that you have going through the overflow box. Once you're done with that, put your lid on and you're done. Enjoy your tank. Thanks for watching.